Have you ever stopped to consider that the trajectory of your entire life, your successes and your failures, is being silently engineered by the seemingly insignificant things you do each and every day? This isn't just a theory, it's a fundamental truth I've come to understand, and it's the very reason you need to listen closely to what we're about to share. Welcome, I'm Jessy.
And I'm Carl. You've just tuned into a conversation that has the power to fundamentally reshape your reality, all by understanding the immense power hidden within your daily routines. We're so thrilled you've chosen to join us today.
Let's cut straight to the heart of the matter. Those automatic actions you perform from the moment you open your eyes, like reaching for your toothbrush or deciding what to eat for your first meal, they are not just items on a checklist. They are the very architects of your destiny. They meticulously construct the person you are and determine the person you will become.
Carla is hitting on a profound truth here. Positive, constructive habits act as catalysts for personal growth, propelling you forward towards your goals. Conversely, negative habits function like invisible anchors, holding you back from reaching the shores of your full potential. The mechanism is really that straightforward.
Let me pose a very personal question to you, something for you to reflect on internally. What is the very first action you take the instant your consciousness returns each morning? What do you do in those initial foggy moments after you open your eyes?
That's an excellent question, and it forces me to confront my own past. I must confess, my former routine was to immediately grab my smartphone. I would dive headfirst into a sea of text messages, emails, and the endless scrolling feeds of social media.
I can completely relate to that impulse. I was trapped in that very same cycle.
The consequence, however, was immediate and palpable. I would feel a wave of stress and anxiety wash over me before my feet had even touched the floor. My mind was already cluttered and overwhelmed with information, other people's lives, and the world's problems before I had a chance to form my own first thought of the day.
That exact same experience led me to a turning point. I made a conscious and deliberate decision to replace that draining habit with the life-giving one. My morning ritual is now entirely different.
What does that new beginning look like for you now?
I began by physically sitting up at a slow, deliberate pace. I then close my eyes and take 3 deep, intentional, and cleansing breaths, filling my lungs completely. Finally, I speak a simple, positive affirmation out loud into the space of my room.
Can you give us an example of what you might say?
It could be something as straightforward as, "Today holds incredible potential for greatness," or a declaration like, "I am fully prepared and equipped to handle whatever this day brings me." The words themselves are simple, but their impact on my mindset is profound and undeniable.
That is truly a beautiful practice. And can you see the brilliant secondary benefit here? You are seamlessly integrating English practice into the very foundation of your day. You are choosing to speak in English during your first conscious moments.
Precisely. This is a core principle I want everyone to grasp. Acquiring the English language does not need to be a difficult, separate chore that you have to force into your schedule. You can weave it directly into the existing fabric of your daily life, making it a natural and enjoyable part of who you are.
That's a perfect segue. Let's equip our listeners with some practical and useful phrases they can incorporate into their own morning routines. Are you ready to begin?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Let's begin with a fundamental one. I wake up at. This is your foundation. You can complete it with any time. For instance, I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's a perfect starting point. Following that, you can state, "I get out of bed." This clearly communicates the action of leaving your bed and standing up, ready to engage with the day.
Excellent. Now, what's a wonderful thing to do once you're vertical? I stretch my arms and legs. Stretching is the act of extending your limbs to awaken your muscles, increase blood flow, and shake off the residual sleepiness.
I love that. How about this for a health-boosting habit? I drink a glass of water. Consuming water first thing in the morning is incredibly beneficial for your body.
It truly is. After a long night of sleep and natural dehydration, your body is craving hydration. That single glass of water helps to rehydrate your system, kickstart your metabolism, and make you feel refreshed and alert.
Now, let's move from learning to active practice. This is where the real integration happens. Everyone listening, we want you to repeat these phrases out loud with us. Don't just hear them, speak them. Give your vocal cords and your brain the practice. Are you ready?
Let's do it together. Repeat after me. I wake up early. Now, I get out of bed. Your turn. I stretch my body. And finally, I drink cold water.
Incredible job, everyone. That was fantastic. You just actively practiced your English. Now, let's shift our focus to another critical morning component, breakfast habits.
Oh, this is a vital topic. Breakfast is, without exaggeration, the most important meal of the day. It is the fuel that breaks your overnight fast and powers your brain and body for the hours ahead.
Yet, a common habit many people fall into is skipping breakfast. To skip breakfast means to not eat anything at all during this morning meal.
I was guilty of this for years. I operated under the mistaken belief that skipping breakfast would save me precious time and maybe even help me manage my weight.
But that is a dangerous misconception. When you skip breakfast, you are essentially asking your body and brain to operate on empty. You are depriving them of the essential energy needed to start the day effectively, which often leads to fatigue, poor concentration, and overeating later in the day.
You are absolutely right. I've since corrected that habit. Now, I make it a non-negotiable rule to always eat something, even if it's just a small, simple item to break my fast.
What does a typical breakfast look like for you now, Carl?
I often enjoy a slice of toast with a bit of butter and sometimes a piece of fruit, like a banana or an apple. On days when I have more time, I might prepare some scrambled eggs for a protein boost.
That sounds both delicious and nutritious. For me, a bowl of cereal with milk is a quick and easy go-to. Or on colder mornings, I find a warm bowl of oatmeal to be very comforting and sustaining.
Oatmeal is a superb choice. It's packed with fiber and complex carbohydrates, which means it provides a slow and steady release of energy, keeping you feeling full and satisfied for a long time and preventing those mid-morning energy crashes.
Perfect. Now, let's build our vocabulary around this essential meal. This is about turning your breakfast into a learning opportunity. Our first word is toast.
Right. Toast is bread that has been exposed to heat until it becomes brown, crisp, and delicious. It's a breakfast staple in many cultures.
Next, we have cereal. This refers to those small, often crunchy pieces of grain that you typically pour into a bowl and eat with milk.
And let's not forget scrambled eggs. This is a method of preparing eggs where you break them, mix the yolk and white together, and then cook them in a pan, stirring as they solidify.
A common beverage pairing is juice. Popular morning choices include orange juice or apple juice, which provide a sweet and refreshing start.
Now, let's move from individual words to constructing complete practical sentences. Try this one on for size. I eat toast and drink orange juice for breakfast.
Wonderful. Or another common example, I usually have cereal with cold milk in the morning. These are sentences you can actually use.
Now, Jessy, let's move further into the morning. After breakfast, what does your getting ready routine look like? What are the subsequent steps?
The very next thing for me is brushing my teeth. I cannot overstate how crucial dental hygiene is.
It truly is. Dentists universally recommend brushing your teeth at least twice a day, once in the morning and once before you go to sleep at night.
Immediately after that, I take a shower. The flow of water is incredibly effective at washing away any lingering sleepiness and making me feel completely clean and revitalized.
That leads to an interesting question. Do you prefer a hot shower or do you brave a cold one?
I typically start with warm water for comfort, but I've trained myself to end the shower with about 30 seconds of cold water. It's a shocking but incredibly effective way to jolt my system and boost my energy levels for the day.
That is genuinely brave. I must admit, I am strictly a hot shower enthusiast. I am not yet mentally prepared for the challenge of cold water.
And that is perfectly okay. The core message here isn't about the temperature of your water. It's about establishing a consistent routine that works uniquely for you and sets you up for success.
Exactly. So let's teach some essential getting ready phrases. You can say, I brush my teeth, or I take a shower. If you're in a hurry, you can specify, I take a quick shower.
How about I get dressed? That means you put on the clothes you'll wear for the day.
And then, I comb my hair, or I brush my hair. Both are perfectly correct and describe the act of untangling and styling your hair.
Now, here's a question we want to pose to everyone listening. It's a simple one, but the answer can be very revealing. Do you make your bed in the morning?
Ooh, that is an interesting habit to examine. Making your bed means you straighten the sheets, arrange the blankets, and fluff the pillows, transforming your sleeping area into a neat and orderly space.
For me, it's a non-negotiable. I make my bed every single morning without fail. It's a small, seemingly insignificant task, but completing it immediately gives me a sense of order and control. It makes my entire room feel more organized, and my mind feels clearer because of it.
I have to admit, I'm inconsistent. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I never thought much of it, but you're making me reconsider.
There's a famous saying from a naval admiral that goes, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed.
That sounds powerful. Why would such a small act be so significant?
Because it's the first task of the day, and completing it successfully gives you an immediate small sense of accomplishment. It reinforces the idea that you can complete what you start. This feeling creates a positive momentum, a psychological chain reaction that makes you want to tackle the next task and then the next.
I see the logic now. It's about building a cascade of productivity. One good habit, no matter how small, naturally leads to the next good habit. It sets a positive tone for your entire day.
Exactly. That is the fundamental mechanics of how habits operate. They build upon one another, creating a structure of routine and discipline. Now, let's transition to the next part of the day. What does your journey to work or school look like, Carl?
I live close to a bus stop, so I have a 10-minute walk to get there. It's a pleasant part of my morning.
And do you do anything special during those 10 minutes?
Indeed, I do. I use that time to listen to English podcasts, very much like this one we are creating right now.
That is a perfect example of effective habit stacking. You are learning and improving your English while simultaneously engaging in the necessary act of traveling. That is called multitasking, performing two activities at the same time efficiently.
I do something similar. When I'm on the bus, I often listen to English music.
That is brilliant practice. Music is a fantastic tool for learning the rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation of the language. Plus, it's an enjoyable and emotionally engaging activity. Learning should never feel like a boring duty. It should be a pleasurable pursuit.
I couldn't agree more. The key is to find the synergy between necessity and improvement. Let's offer a concrete piece of advice to our listeners. Here is a powerful yet simple strategy. Identify one boring moment in your day.
Yes, everyone has them. It could be during your daily walk, while you're waiting in a line, or even when you're performing a mundane chore like washing the dishes.
Once you've identified that moment, your mission is to intentionally add English to it. It's that straightforward. You can listen to an English audio clip, or you can practice speaking to yourself.
And let me be very clear. Talking to yourself in English is not a sign of being crazy. It is a sign of being strategic and smart. I do this all the time myself.
What exactly do you say when you talk to yourself?
I simply describe what I am doing in that very moment. I narrate my actions. I might say, I am pouring hot water into my coffee mug, or I am tying the laces on my shoes. They are simple, present tense observations.
That is a perfect method. This technique is often called narrating your life. It forces your brain to actively form sentences, use vocabulary, and think in English about your immediate reality. This consistent practice dramatically accelerates your fluency.
It truly does. Now let's shift our focus to the middle of the day. What about our afternoon habits? What typically happens after you have lunch, Carl?
Well, a very common phenomenon occurs after lunch. Many people, including myself, experience a significant drop in energy levels. Do you feel that too?
Absolutely. I often feel quite sleepy around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It's a recognizable pattern for many.
That specific feeling has a name. It's called the afternoon slump. The word slump describes a period where your energy, mood, or performance declines noticeably.
So the important question is, what can we actively do to combat this slump? What strategies are effective?
Some people turn to caffeine and drink a cup of coffee. Others find that a brief 5-minute walk outdoors is invigorating. Some even advocate for a short power nap, a sleep period lasting only 15 to 30 minutes.
My personal method is to physically stand up from my chair and do a few simple stretches. Then I make sure to drink a full glass of cold water. This combination almost always helps to revitalize me.
That's an excellent point. Moving your body is a critical part of the solution. In our modern, sedentary lifestyles, we simply sit for far too long throughout the day.
You're so right. The physical act of standing and stretching interrupts the sedentary pattern and increases blood circulation. Let's equip our listeners with some useful phrases for this time of day. You can say, I take a break. This means you pause your work or activity for a short period to rest and reset.
Another great one is I go for a walk. Walking is a gentle but effective form of exercise, and it has the added benefit of helping to clear your mind.
And clear your mind is a wonderful expression. It means to deliberately let go of stressful, cluttered, or anxious thoughts, giving your brain a moment of rest and respite.
Here is another highly relevant phrase. I need to recharge. This means you need to regain your energy, to restore your capacity to focus and work effectively.
That is a fantastic comparison. Our bodies and minds are very much like the batteries in our phones. After hours of use, they drain and need to be plugged in to recharge. We recharge not with electricity, but with rest, hydration, and nutritious food.
Speaking of nutritious food, this brings us to a pivotal afternoon habit, snacking. Do you find yourself eating snacks in the afternoon, Jessy?
I do, and I make a conscious effort to choose healthy options whenever possible, such as a piece of fresh fruit or a small handful of nuts.
That is an excellent practice. Unhealthy snacks like potato chips or chocolate candy provide a rapid spike of energy due to their high sugar and fat content, but this is followed by a sharp crash, leaving you feeling even more tired than before.
Exactly. They are a source of what I call fake energy. It feels good for a moment, but it is fleeting and unreliable. It doesn't sustain you.
It's far better to consume something like an apple or some carrot sticks. These foods provide complex carbohydrates, fiber, and vitamins, which release real energy steadily and consistently over a longer period. Now, I'd like to share a personal story to illustrate the power of a single small change. May I?
Of course, please do. I believe stories are one of the most powerful ways to learn. I have a friend named Jessy. She was determined to improve her English, but she constantly felt overwhelmed by her busy schedule. She genuinely believed she had no spare time to dedicate to formal study.
That is a feeling I think many of our listeners can identify with. The perception of no time is a major obstacle.
It is, but she discovered a powerful secret. She didn't find more time. She transformed how she used a small pocket of time she already had. What did she change, Carl?
Well, her habit was to spend her 20-minute lunch break passively scrolling through social media on her phone, just mindlessly consuming content.
A habit so many of us have.
Indeed, but she decided to make a swap. Instead of those 20 minutes of scrolling, she committed to watching one short English video. It was a simple replacement.
And what was the outcome of that one small change?
After just 3 months of this consistent daily practice, her comprehension skills had improved dramatically. She was astonished by her own progress. She couldn't believe how much she could learn in just 20 minutes a day.
That is the undeniable power of daily habits. It's not about massive, overwhelming actions. It is about small, consistent actions repeated day after day that lead to monumental results over time.
That is the ultimate lesson for everyone. You do not need to magically discover extra hours in your day. You need to consciously create better habits within the time you already have. So tonight, before you close your eyes and drift off to sleep, we want you to do one thing. Think deeply about one single habit you wish to cultivate. Then take the physical action of writing it down. But be specific. Make it microscopic. Do not write something vague like, I will exercise more. That is too ambiguous. Instead, write, I will do 10 push-ups every morning after I brush my teeth. Do not write, I will learn English. Instead, write, I will listen to 10 minutes of English conversation while I eat my breakfast.
The goal is to make the habit so easy, so undemanding that it feels impossible to say no to. The barrier to entry must be virtually zero. And then, once it's defined, you simply do it, one day at a time. You focus only on completing it today. Tomorrow, you will focus on tomorrow.
Before we say our goodbyes, we have a small request. If you found value in our time together today, if this conversation sparked something in you, please share this show with a friend, a family member, or a colleague.
Yes, please. Learning and growth are journeys that become richer and more sustainable when shared with others.
We also love reading your comments. Tell us what one small habit you are committing to starting. Your stories and commitments inspire us in return and fuel our mission to help. All right, that brings us to the conclusion of today's episode. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for investing this time in yourself and for allowing us to be a small part of your journey.
We will see you next time. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep smiling. Remember, your daily habits are the silent, relentless architects of your future. Make each one count.
Good night, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are listening from across this beautiful world. Never forget that you are capable of achieving amazing things.
Believe in yourself. Take it one day at a time, one habit at a time. You've absolutely got this.
Goodbye, friends.
Bye, everyone. Keep your English alive every single day.